pieces basically I drew from two different series that I made a number of years ago. One of them was the Crucified Goddess series, and one of them was the Shaman series. The Shaman series was slightly different. The mission simply was to make a mask like sculpture, and half the mask was going to be different from the other half, even though they're exactly the same mask. So the nose, the eyes and everything are the same, but one half is coloured or textured differently. And all that was very simply that the shaman or the priest or the mullah or whatever spiritual guide people use was able to look into the spiritual world at the same time as look into the natural three-dimensional world that we live in. And he or she would be the natural intermediary between us and the spiritual world. And that's what the Shaman series is about. They're all split, they're all duality. Even though it's the same mask, everything is duality. Looking into one world and this world at the same time. You can choose whatever one represents. You can say, oh, that's the dark, therefore it's looking into the... But it's not, because the eyes are... I've painted those whites, so and there's duality going on. And all I'm doing is reiterating the human condition. Nothing else, in exactly the same way people did since they could do it, and are still doing it in many ways. I just tend to do it I like the primitive idea, the primitive motifs, slightly abstracted and primitive, but they're still figurative, and I wanted to make a very powerful, angel-like, powerful being who held a lightning bolt and a hammer. And I also played around a little bit with the imagery. I gave it wings, obviously. It's male, very definitely male, and has claws. And the Crucified Goddess series kind of speaks for itself. They're all the cruciform shapes, which roughly, I could say I was drawing from the tradition of the Morrigan and the Sheila na gig, and the idea that in Ireland and in many countries, pre-Christian religions sometimes tended to be matriarchal, and then when they died or were supplanted, they became patriarchal. So what I was doing here was calling it the Crucified Goddess. So I was mixing a little bit of Christian iconography to cross as a symbol of overtaking another religion. In this case, it was a matriarchal-based religion, which we've now more or less lost, I think. It might be there subliminally, and maybe it's coming back in many ways, because obviously women in modern Western societies are finding their power again. In some ways, it's actually coming back, which is absolutely what it should be. The snake is representing life from primordial life, and it's an alchemical symbol. The snake is a very powerful symbol. So they're representing an elemental force in nature. I want the female goddess form with the primitive snake image wrapped around her, because they are one. What I have an interest in is anthropomorphication, the way humans make images to represent elemental forces. And we've been doing that ever since we could do it. Since we could draw a picture on a wall with a bit of charcoal, we've been doing that because I think it's one of the only ways we learn to survive mentally in a universe we don't quite understand. So we do this, and we make it into a human form, construct our own gods and goddesses, and we can then identify what's going on, even though it's just a method. Red can be the colour of many things, but blood, obviously, energy. Sheila na gig's a very powerful image. It's an icon, really. That's very old. Sheila na gigs aren't old in Irish context. They're medieval, actually. But I think they might have come from a very older belief system.